Hey, how's everybody doing? Are we taking aloe, pure aloe gel, aloe vera gel, and I've been taking Irish moss and a little bit of sour sap and my black seed oil. I don't do it all at once, and I was just giving dandelion oil and oregano oil. I have a lot of stuff. So we're gonna do Mars and Libra part 3, and this is gonna be an hour, okay? Because we're gonna deal with the esoteric side of Mars and Libra. There's still there's still a lot to cover, you know. What? Okay. You all know Matito Rodriguez. Okay. Okay. Very good. Now we're gonna jump right in. Well, first of all, I do have to say this before I go any further. I gotta say thank you. I gotta say thank you for those of you who have been donating money to my PayPal, www.paypal.me/the people's astrologer. I had no idea that a lot of your names were in there. So I'm gonna read off some names for those of you who have been donating. For example, Sharon Ogaro. Okay, thank you, Sharon Ogaro. Thank you, Isha Thompson. Thank you, Jean Groves. Greg W. Bales. Jean Groves. Ibeliemi Ademowo. Okay. I gotta give it a couple of more. I had no idea. I had no idea. We have Nicole Joseph, Miriam Kodada, Dayanelis Urdaneta, Janae Rosell, Fernando Rosado, Nadia El Magmari, Angeline King, Janice Vega Latker, my brother from Massachusetts, Bruce Linston and his family, Rachel McNichol, Natalia Zanko, Gloria Esedebe, and let's see. Oh my God, there's Keyshawn Richardson, Dakare Jackson, Lance Brown, Munachiso Igu, Sharice McPhee, okay, Diana Wright, Georgina Roy, Rogue Cloth, Angie Williams, Vianna Burchell, Melissa Hutton, Jessica Honore, and I believe one of the ladies from Basketball Wives from that show donated some money, and her name, she's supposed to be anonymous, but I got this from my publicist, Ebela Arizi, Sokna Hon Tuman, Georgina Roy, Faith Yascone, Carmen Ronson, to mention just a few. Keep the donations going. Thank you so much. I'm writing a new play, and I would like you guys to be there next year when I open. Okay? And I'm still having shows at the Garden. I'm just not posting them. I don't have the time. It's too much. and I got like two separate staff dealing running my organizations, and it's a lot. So I'm gonna take a time when I go to Dubai. I'm gonna take that time for me to organize my businesses and put the play together. I'm gonna have to hire a dramaturg to fix the play for me while I run my other organization. But I'm gonna be in Dubai for 2 weeks, and I'm going to just sit back, take a vacation, and put this play together. And I will hope to see you guys for this production, which will be next spring. Okay? And this play will not be at the Garden, but it will be at an off-Broadway venue. Today, however, I am drinking my tea, Earl Grey. Delicious. Delicious. So, without further ado, I'm going to make up for the time that I spent giving the announcements, because I know some of you like to skip the announcements and go right into the video. So, that's okay. I got no problem with that. You know, knowledge is knowledge, and it's there for the taking. And for those of you who don't, who want to jump into the nitty gritty first, and then maybe review the other stuff that I talk about later, that's fine too. But don't skip the beginning, because you want to get to the video, and then return, because I might give some gems in the introduction. Okay. Uh, Mars in Libra. An esoteric explanation. And this might be tough. It might be rough. Oh my God, I clean my fucking fingers. Many times I cut my nails and I clean my fingers and I still got stains, the weed stain. Ugh. At some point, at one point, I had to take a razor, like a razor, and scrape it off. Resin sticks to you. Ugh. Telling you, I'm a Virgo. Little things like that kill me. And then I don't notice it when I'm on the air. Then when I'm on the air, I notice I'm like, ah! You can lose credibility that way. Someone said online, Fernando, leave the white stuff alone. This is not about white stuff. I never do that. At least not on the air. I have a nasal polyp and a deviated septum and been like that my entire life. This is not because of the white lady, but because it's, I used to suffer from sinusitis since I was a child, and I still need the operation, and I never had it done. Other stuff that I do doesn't help any area. But anyway, now let's go back to Mars in Libra. Mars in Libra, you have to understand, correlates to a soul who desires to have, well, he wants to actualize, or she wants to actualize their karmic condition, or their karmic evolutionary intention. Now, let me mention what I mean when I talk about karmic evolutionary intention. Esoteric astrology is difficult to make videos and discuss because it's so highly complex and speaks on many levels. An hour is not enough either to talk about one planet in one sign, about regular astrology, but esoteric astrology, and the language is very, very tough. The first person to introduce this term, karmic evolutionary intention, was Jeffrey Green, a most celebrated esoteric astrologer who made a fortune and made a name for himself writing about Pluto and interpersonal relationships as the soul goes through its journey and evolves through interpersonal relationships. Groundbreaking work. Jeffrey Green, Volume 1, Volume 2. Groundbreaking work. Amazing work. Amazing work. So I quoted from him, and I studied under Jeffrey Green when I became an astrologer. There's a school of Jeffrey Green, a school of thought, and there are many astrologers that are Jeffrey Green astrologers. I'm one of those because he's an evolutionary astrologer, which is what I was aspiring to be when I was younger. Now that I've become an esoteric astrologer, some 25 years later, it's still difficult. It was difficult for me then as a student, and it's difficult for me now as a professional. So I'm going to try my best, and I don't think I can do justice to how Jeffrey Green puts it or quotes it, and I'm not going to quote it, but let me just say that the evolutionary karmic intention of every sign of the zodiac is to evolve from animal to human and then back to God. You're not going to do this by yourself or to yourself, from yourself. In order for you to learn about you and learn about who you are as a person and your place in the universe and in the grand scheme of things, you need to have a reflection of yourself. And a mirror or looking at the pond and looking at your reflection in the pond or in a lake is not enough self-reflection where you can be bounced. You need another human being where you can bounce off each other and learn from each other as you all project upon each other who you are. And that is the best way to learn. Remember, man knows himself by action, by thought, never. Remember that. We have to apply this here with Mars in Libra. Okay? So, understand, so I can read it better. Understand that in order for the Mars in Libra person to get to know who he is or she is, they need to go through a plethora, a medley of different types of relationships so they can see a part of themselves in those people. And if they don't see a part of themselves in those people, they learn a new dimension that they can build upon based on the new experience of another person. The Libra person wants to evolve. Like Virgo, Mars in Virgo, or Venus in Virgo. They want to improve themselves, be better human beings. But there's no way. I mean, look at me. I have Libra rising. And I told you I was very narcissistic. Very narcissistic in my behaviors. And it was terrible. You would have thought I was really a clinically identified narcissist. But I'm not. No, but I acted like one. And understand that I didn't get to know myself until I started being in a relationship where I learned about myself through my partners. You know, an objective perspective of who you are is very important to the Mars and Libra person. And also to the Venus in Libra person. And to a particular degree, Saturn in Libra. Remember, Saturn is exalted in Libra. So out of all the signs of the zodiac, not even Capricorn, which is the sign that Saturn rules, bears much weight as it does if it's in Libra. Which is why, again, I'm so hard on Libra. Because the devil, the Grim Reaper, Saturn, Jehovah, has a favorite. And that favorite is Libra. Because Saturn is exalted in Libra. So Libra is important. So I got to spend a lot of time with Libra. My favorite sign. Now, whew, that's why I'm not drinking alcohol. I got to stay really sober. So the esoteric astrology is very serious. And I got to this is the most professional of an astrologer that you'll probably ever see me in. Okay. So by going through different relationship types, the Mars and Libra person gets to learn a dimension of who they are. Think of a Rubik's Cube, right? You move it different ways, and there are many different ways to get all the colors aligned by their sides. There are many ways to do this. So there are many ways to relate with another human being and to learn from another human being and to interrelate with another human being. Okay? Understand that this is the Martin Libra way of expanding the reality of who they are and the reality of the world around them. Remember, Libra is that oop sign. It could be like Rapunzel, the fairy tale Rapunzel stuck in the ivory tower and not know real life. where the prince has to climb up to get some, because she won't come down. The story of Rapunzel fits the Mars in Libra, and in the tarot key, Mars is the tower, the Rapunzel tower, where the guys and the women are falling to their death. If you look at the tarot card, so the Rapunzel, a fairy tale, speaks about the energy of Mars and Venus trying to get together. Mars is the man trying to climb up to the hair of Rapunzel, and of course Rapunzel symbolizes Venus. And when they finally get together, it's love. This is the epitome of Venus and Mars in Libra. Okay, so having said that, how does the soul translate and disseminate knowledges that it has ascribed and accumulated from many lifetimes? How does it funnel it through the agency of Mars and Libra? Well, it does it by projecting or attracting or pulling from the community or the proximity of where the person is from. Pulling those people that she needs in her life or he needs in his life to experience the diversity of people. Because the diversity of people is an indicator that life itself is diverse. That just like people are changeable and mutable, so is life around us. And that the life and the beauty around us is a reflection of our own inner beauty and our own inner natures, reflected back to that concept of beauty. Okay? And beauty is also a relative term. There are people, look at Eleanor Roosevelt. She was a Libra. She wasn't known for being the most beautiful person in the world, but this woman had a beautiful heart. Eleanor Roosevelt, born with Saturn in Libra. And look what she did. We have schools after her. We have policies that she left behind after, the beauty and the cardinality of Libra we can see to this day. I went to Eleanor Roosevelt elementary school. So I was influenced by this great woman born with Saturn in Libra. It's exaltation. Well, the same thing we can say with Mars, but because Mars is in its detriment in Libra, because it is the dignified ruler of Aries. Just like the dignified ruler of Capricorn is Saturn. But Saturn is in its detriment in Cancer, the opposite of Capricorn. Okay? So understand that we have here a perpetual quest to kind of like experiment with different people and different relationships. Some men and women with Mars and Libra will use sex as a way to connect to other people and learn about them, because you can't get more personal, more intimate than sex. But then you have the intellectual side, because the sex part belongs to the Taurian side of Venus. And the opposite of Taurus is Scorpio, right? Where Venus is in its detriment, because it dignifiedly rules Taurus and dignifiedly rules Libra. Venus is also in detriment in Aries, the opposite of its dignity. So understand that these polarities can play themselves out in the embodiment and the personification of the people that the Mars and Libra man or woman meet. Now understand that speaking on an esoteric level, the Mars and Libra man and woman reincarnated seeking these experiences, these types of relationship dynamic experiences, because that's missing in its package. The soul's journey through incarnations, something's missing in its arsenal or in its book of experiences. One of them is how to connect or relate to someone on an interpersonal level. Not so much to connect with them, but to also interrelate with them and to figure out the world around them through the agency of that person. It's like having a puzzle. You got pieces of the puzzle, but you're not really going to understand each piece of the puzzle unless you see it in the whole picture. You got 10,000 pieces. Well, the Libra person needs to have all those 10,000 pieces to put it together so they can get a sense of the whole picture. But they're not going to get a sense of the whole picture unless they connect on an individual level. And then they have to connect themselves to that big puzzle and that big picture. This is the psychological orientation and need basis that drives and motivates the person born with Mars in Libra. Me cha cha cha. Okay, so okay, so that's what the Libra person does. This is one point. Now, in evolutionary terms, or evolutionarily speaking, you know, the soul is desiring new ways to relate, new ways to be in relationships with other people, to challenge, to challenge the cultural establishment, established and sanctioned from the by cultures that have set the tone of what a relationship should be and not be. The Mars and Libra person wants to test that out. They want to see how far they can push the envelope. They may not respect cultural values or norms that dictate how a relationship should be or how one should approach a relationship. Conventional society has its paradigms and its rules and its codified laws as to what governs relationships. But so does nature. And the Mars in Libra doesn't ascribe to neither. It wants to experience it for itself. Mars in Libra. Okay, so that's the second point. Okay, what can I say? Different cultural dynamics and different relationship dynamics help us all understand the piece of the puzzle that much more closely. Um, um, how can I put it? Let me think this out here. To learn how to give and to receive in equal ways in a relationship is another need basis of those born with Mars and Libra. They want to experience equal exchange either in love, in information, or in resources, or in just states of being. This is that third point is that there has to be equality, but equality of exchange. It's almost like the Mars and Libra person prefers a transactional relationship with the other person, where you give me this, I'll give you that. Tit for tat. The same with Capricorn or with Saturn in Capricorn in its dignity. These are transactional signs. They want something. If they're going to give, they want something back. They don't give unconditionally like Pisces or like Virgo. No, they want something back. It's transactional. And they keep score. Okay? So, I mean, this is the way that the Martin Libra person really operates, even though they're not going to admit it openly. They're not going to admit this openly. Yeah, they're not going to admit this openly because it makes them appear kind of cold in a way, right? And the Libra person doesn't want to be perceived as cold, you know, and this definitely will come across like that. And it's not that the Libra in Mars, the Mars and Libra person means to come across like that. Remember, emotionally, emotionally, they're not connecting to how the person might perceive them or perceive their intention. They might come across where they might not really care. And well, that's my personal problem with Libra, is that they don't really give too much energy to other people's feelings and emotions, and they don't take it into the equation when they affect people the way they do with their intellect. You know, because God forbid that they should, make a mistake. That's the part of Libra that really disturbs me and has me always unsettled. Is that they don't really care for the emotional needs of others, but they swear that they do, but they really don't. That's a real ugly secret about Libra. But that's, and it's not malicious. It's because Libra doesn't understand her own feelings, his own feelings, and don't want to. They get upset. It makes them uncomfortable. That doesn't mean that the Mars and Libra person, or any Libra person for that matter, doesn't have feeling and it's not feeling. Oh, they got plenty of feeling for themselves and about themselves, and they love it if someone will invest the type of energy to figure them out emotionally. But do you think that they're gonna put that kind of investment to figure you out emotionally? Hell fucking no. And that's my beef with Libra. But this is not a Libra bashing. But the truth is the truth. And a lot of Libras call me, curse me out, because I really hit a button here. And I'm going to continue to hit that button until Libra evolves from that. And of course, I'm talking about the lower evolved Libra, not the ones that I evolved, of course. And if it doesn't apply to you, you should not get upset. If it doesn't apply to you, let it fly by. But only for those that this applies to. Now, and I have to put that out there because, what's ironic is that for so much that Libra seeks in connecting with another human being, because they really do want to seek and connect with another human being, but it's almost ironic that the emotions, which is the most important of the union and fusion, which then intellect can rest on, that they don't consider or don't seem to care very much for it until it bites them in the ass. So understand that these dynamics are going to come into play. Mars is the god of war. So, and he's in Libra, the sign of peace. So understand that there's going to be a tug and a pull where the pendulum is going to swing one way and then the other way. Especially for those who have Mars and Venus in Libra. For those people who have Mars and Venus conjunct in Libra, or in any other sign for that matter, that also is significant. That right there requires another series. Yes. Yes. I have to do another series. And the next series that I'm going to do is not going to be any of those that you guys propose. Not yet. Not yet. I need to do another series on the phasal relationship between Mars and Venus because it is extremely important in the horoscope, in the birth chart. Why do you think I charge so much money? This is work. This is the height of ego and personality complexity. And that is in the birth chart. And that has to be thoroughly explained. And it takes more than 2 hours, which is why if you order a birth chart, which is $350, I'm thinking of raising it to $400. I understand that for you, the money is worth it. That's no money. That's no money compared to the information. And it's for an entire year. I have to do the birth chart for you for an entire year. At least 36 hours. It's a lot of information in the horoscope. A lot. I don't even want to talk about that. So understand. Having said that, you have to take into consideration that everything evolves over time. And sometimes evolution comes through conflict. A lot of times, people born with Mars and Libra are here to bring the smoke, bring the fight, bring it, bring it. Because that's the way that they can restore balance and order to get to the prize. It's not always Aries coming out with the sword ready to strike. As quiet as it's kept, the one that's more dangerous of the two is Libra. Because Aries will come like this, but Libra will come with the sword hidden behind her back or his back. And then when you're not looking, whoosh, strike. And that's what makes Libra dangerous. And of course, I'm being physical, but I mean it in a metaphoric way. Okay? So, and all right. So that was the third point, the equal exchange, and that it could be transactional. Okay. Um, Libra needs to learn. This is the third point. Is that the Mars in Libra needs to learn to. Excuse me. They need to understand how to balance its needs from the needs of other people. Okay. They need to learn how to give and receive in equal ways, to learn how to understand the nature of the things that they project onto people. Okay? They want to understand their own psychological behavior, but through the agency and projections of other people's behavior as reflected upon them. Does that make sense? Florida water. The electricity that I get from my archons talking to him, putting this together. They want to make sure that this is done very concisely. But this is energy. Okay. Because of the desire for the Mars and Libra person to learn about itself, himself, herself, through the agency of others, the result of these desires, the Mars and Libra person is going to be attracted to all kinds of people, all kinds of different people throughout his or her life. Many of these attractions will lead into short-term relationships. So don't be surprised if men and women born with Mars and Libra can have all kinds of intimate relationship with all kinds of people. You think Pisces is the whore? Libra can be a second place runner with Mars and Libra. Remember, Mars is the planet of human sexuality. And Venus is the goddess Venus, Libra, Aphrodite. You have the goddess, the love goddess, representing the love planet Venus, with the big macho honcho Shango, Aries, the two planets of human sexuality together in Libra, and they're both polar opposites. You're talking here high level of complexity of the ego and its expression in the human personality of the Libra woman or the Libra man. So understand that the Libra person might not even understand what it wants, what she wants, what he wants. And through all these different people, there was a movie back in the 70s, and I think it was by Jill Clayburgh, called Looking for Mr. Goodbar. I think it was Jill Clayburgh. It was a 1970s movie. This woman slept with everybody, something that you did in the 70s. Eventually, she was killed by one of her, men lovers. It was a horrible thing, but that happened a lot in the 70s. Pluto in Libra in the 1970s. A lot of the decade of the serial killers. Pluto in Libra. Da 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 da. I love it. I love it. Okay, understand that with that movie, uh, I believe it was Jill Clayburgh who played it, or Diane Keaton. I'm not quite sure. It might have been Diane Keaton or Diane Cannon, one of those. And this movie, that she represented the Mars in Libra. I mean, she slept with everybody, but she was trying to connect and to relate to different people as she connected until she met the wrong guy who killed her. Who in the movie I think happened to be a serial killer. It was shocking. We weren't expecting her to die at the end, but we were like, oh, shock. You know, looking for Mr. Goodbye. If you have Mars in Libra, Google that movie and see if you can rent it or download it on Netflix or Hulu or Voodoo, all of them. No, I tell you, in my classes, I offer a course on the mystery behind movies, television, the theater, and motion pictures. Because these movies and these platforms, vehicles, are telling us a lot about life, even though it's fictionalized as movies, plays, whatever. The underlying is real. And a lot of these plays and movies are written by people who are members of the club. Don't forget that. So they're telling us shit through the movies, books, and all that stuff. Okay? People don't know that William Shakespeare and Burton were all members of the secret societies. They belong to the Rosicrucian order in particular. So understand that it's almost difficult or almost impossible for the Mars in Libra woman or man to stay in a long-term relationship. It's difficult. I'm sorry, but I got a little something. I got a little pastrami sandwich here. Sorry, Miss Virgo. I know you know. I'm not trying to smack lip. I'm just taking one bite. And I'm going to be courteous. I'm going to re-up my tea. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. And while I did that, I stopped the tune. See how I did that? Smart, huh? Okay. Um. Okay. Okay. So we got it. Okay. Mars and Libra. So one way that the Mars and Libra woman or man will connect to other people is by having sex. And the quick will be very quick lived. The relationship will be very quick lived. The Libra, the Mars and Libra person might not be aware or might not psychologically. How can I put it? How can I put it? The Mars and Libra person sometimes is not psychologically aware that they are looking to know who they are through the reflection of the people. Libra cannot do this superficially. It's not like Mars and Gemini. No? Well, the person with Mars and Gemini, uh, will kind of do the same thing that the Mars in Libra is doing, but it's superficial. With Gemini, it's superficial. It is the sign of superficiality. Let me tell you that. So what you have to understand is that Libra is more interpersonal and wants to merge with the partner, not just physically, sexually, but internally. That she wants to know his soul, his essence, or her soul, or her essence, to see if she can learn about herself through that person. But then once she gets what she wants through that person, don't be surprised if the Mars and Libra man and woman ends the relationship and move on to gain another level of experience through another person, which they can learn and take away from. Now, people like that can be easily seen as people who dispose of other people. They use them and then they dispose of them. No? It could be seen like that, especially if we're dealing with someone that's in the not as evolved. Someone not as evolved may come across like that with Mars and Libra. Okay? Um, that's a problem. Especially if the person themselves is not in awareness that they're coming across this dichotomy or that they're giving up these projections. Right? Um, well, um, and these short encounters or experiences that the person will be um, dealing with and brief with each person, what goes on in between? Well, the person with Mars and Libra, the whole reason for the attraction in the first place is like it's the communication, the dialogue. If there's dialogue, if there's conversations, if there's equal exchange of ideas, that's better than sex for the woman or the man born with Mars and Libra. So understand that, having said that, you know, the sexual component of this combination occurs because this intellectual connection was made in the first place. There's an intellectual connection. There's a physical attraction. Then, if the person speaks intelligently, that draws the Mars and Libra person closer. And then if there's exchange of ideas and there's a relationship where they're talking to each other or casual dating, and now she really gets to see the whole index of his IQ by way of conversation, communication, and exchanging of ideas, now she's turned on by him or her. It's progressive, almost like moving into an inner side of an onion, like a layer going deeper and deeper and deeper in or deeper and deeper or further out. Okay? If the person is, of course, pleasant, blah, 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 blah. But if the person is unpleasant, unkind, unattractive, if they have ideas and stuff to exchange, the Mars and Libra person will give it a try. Okay? Um, it has to be that way, because through the exchange of information and a lot of conversations, a lot of exchange of information, and so on. This is something that the Mars and Libra man and woman live for. Okay, so you have to understand that it is true. It is true. This type of experience or this type of approach that the Venus, the Mars and Libra person evolves. because they're learning about themselves through the agency of others. But that's supposed to be exactly what the Libra person is supposed to do. Because in Virgo, we reach the end of personal, individual human development. Now the concern should not be about you. It should be about the next person. And that begins the last six signs of the zodiac, beginning with the cardinal sign of Libra. The first six signs begins with the cardinal sign of Aries. And then the second six pair of signs begins with the cardinal sign of Libra. Isn't it interesting that Aries and Libra are polar opposites, and yet all 12 signs of the zodiac are divided between these two signs, Aries and Libra? Aries rules the first six, and Libra rules the last six. And the last six is the most important. Now you understand why I'm tough on Libra? Libra is the tipping point for the rest of us to move back to God. Esoteric astrology. Libra is the shit. Libra is the number one. It is Libra's responsibility to carry the rest of the zodiac through intellect. Now, okay, biting my tongue. It is through involvement with others in various ways that the Mars and Libra person is able to understand the specific nature of their individual reality. Okay? And it has to happen through free flowing exchange of ideas, values, and information. If they can do this, they're able to make a determination of their own specific values, beliefs, and reality. Please understand how important this is. Here's the other thing. The Mars and Libra person, if they become infatuated with you, they might try to have sex with you. They will sexualize the experience of knowing you. Even if they can't have you, they already have you in their mind. Because intellect and sex come hand in hand with the air signs. Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. So if these men or if these women are sexy and intelligent, but the person cannot sleep with them, they will sexualize the experience with that person. Oh, Mars and Libra. I told you, fierce. Where till we get to Scorpio? So, okay. Um, One of the things that Libra has to learn to do is that it has to pay attention to her or his instincts, embracing from the opposite polarity, Aries, which is all about instinctive action. I know, I have the moon in Aries. I never do anything unless I'm moved by instinct. I listen to my instincts first, my feelings second, and then my intellect third. This order is not the same for everybody. Okay? So, the Mars and Libra person goes through a series of compare and contrast. Comparison is something that belongs to Venus. That's a Venus function. The compare and contrast. Weighing values, that's a Libra function. And this form of evaluation is accomplished by well, the way she can assess or he can assess other people's values, ideas, and exchange of information, and to determine if it's valuable or not to them, they put it through a series of tests, which is compare and contrast. That's something that internally the Libra woman and the Libra men do constantly, which also explains why they're so indecisive. Because it's not that they're stupid, it's that they're still weighing. No puedo vivir. It went with the music, Libra balance. So it went with it. So I just okay. That's very Libra. The balancing. So understand that we jump into the fourth. Now let me talk about the fifth point. Uh Again, the Mars and Libra person. Oh my God, I'm running out of time, and I have so much to say. I just cannot get this rhythm out of my body. It's my soul. It's my Venus and Leo and my Jupiter. It's a constant inner state of happiness. I'm very blessed. Oh, oh. Here we go. Let's see. A little fun and the archons act up. Here we go. Okay. Let me do a little pause here. Let's see where we're gonna go with this. Oops. Okay. I was saying that the Mars and Libra person reflects a soul structure that is able to accept and support the individual reality that it embodies. Not only that it takes on, but it can also tolerate the different realities of the people that it meets or he or she meets. Okay? Libra is attracted to other people because they get the attention that they need from others. And this is reciprocated in kind. Now that what I just mentioned is that lays heavy. That lays heavy. The Libra man or woman, especially the female, born with Mars in Libra, she likes attention as quiet as it's kept. No different than the Leo woman. But with the Leo woman, you know it. She lets it know. And you want to give her attention. You want to do it. How can you not give the Leo woman attention? The Libra woman wants attention too. The Leo woman gets it naturally. And to a certain degree, so does the Libra woman. But the Leo woman takes any that's given to her. Not the Libra woman. She'll be discriminating. Again, compare and contrast. And she'll go with what she feels is most valuable to her and her time. Okay? And if she's getting attention from the opposite sex, even from the same sex, she will develop an attraction and give the same type of energy and attention in kind. Mars in Libra. Okay? Um, okay, let me see. She can listen and experience other people's realities, but she will experience their reality by putting it through her own filter. This is dangerous because, and that like a strainer, some important things can stay on that strainer, and some things that may not be as important, she'll end up absorbing or he will end up absorbing. So, and this is the discrimination that begins in Virgo, and then it culminates in Libra with compare and contrast. Okay, and understand that And this kind of discrimination, which you can discriminate the wrong way and arrive at the wrong conclusion, Virgo. And then when this gravitates towards Libra, where now this discrimination turns into a split of compare and contrast between your values and their values. Because from Aries to Virgo, you're dealing with your own values and your own evolution. From Libra to Pisces, you're dealing with other people's values, other people's ideas, other people's needs, other people's pathos. And if they don't match yours, then the union cannot occur. And if it does happen, it's not because of anything meaningful or substantial. It could be superficial, like lust, physical attraction, or just the chocolate or the flavor of the month. Either because the person is attractive and good looking or because the person is intellectually smart. The Libra person is going to get what she wants out of that person and then move on. This can be dangerous also because you can dispose people this way. But and of course that causes people to feel a certain way, which Libra may not care about. Okay? So this is where it can be very dangerous, the actions of the Mars and Libra person. Because Mars is in its detriment in Libra. And even esoterically, the inner intentions of the Mars and Libra person might not come across the right way. And other people will interpret the Mars and Libra person as being an asshole or a bitch, you know, and being quixotic and complex. In a way, it is true, but not for the reason that they might think. It's because the Libra person is still evolving. They don't have it together, just like anybody else has it together. We are all evolving, trying to evolve, trying to connect to what makes us whole and brings meaning to our lives. This cannot happen by you being alone. You know what they say, no man is an island. Well, no woman is an island either. There's no way. And this is the genius of Jeffrey Green and his volumes, book 1 and 2 on Pluto. And then he wrote one on Uranus, the light of Uranus, which is no longer in print and it's hard to find. So understand that we are the the quest for Libra, particularly with Mars in Libra, is to find out who they are through the compare and contrast of the experiences of other people. Um, Mars in Libra, the Mars in Libra contains a unique gift to unlock and set free the sexual energy in a partner who has been locked up. Typically, Mars in Libra is very sexually refined with a keen sense of touch and sexual grace. What does that mean? That means that the Mars in Libra, man or woman, are sexual healers. Like Pisces. If a Mars in Libra woman touches you, just gently on the touch, on the shoulder, or on your leg, it can send that man shooting through the roof. Literally. Okay? She has a way about her, or he has a way about him, that promotes sexual healing. A person can be impotent or sexually locked up or have his genitals frozen or him or her due to like rape or sexual molestation. That can happen where your sexual organs become spiritually frozen. And these people like that need therapy, because they've been through a trauma. Well, the Mars in Libra person can unfreeze and unlock those chakras and those meridians where there's been sexual trauma. Mars in Libra. I try to be all fancy. I went to pick it up and it got stuck up and it fell like boom. Bitch. My archons. But I have to evolve them just like I do. Just like I have to evolve myself. Sexual differentiator helps Libra expand its having different sexual experiences with different people also help elevate the consciousness. it helps her become a better person or him become a better person. Sex unlocks many things. One thing, um, Libra, Mars and Libra doesn't fuck him and leave him, but that could happen. Okay, but again, it won't be an equal exchange of a balance. In order for the Mars and Libra person to evolve, they need to embrace the opposite polarity, which is Aries. What they seek in a partner, and I mentioned this in part two, they need to already have within themselves. If you cannot be 50% and then want 50% from the other person and together it's 100. No, it doesn't work that way. If you want someone to give you 100%, you got to come to the table with 100%. If you want a partner to take care of you, you're going to attract exactly the opposite. If you want a partner to take care of you and be with you, you need to already be doing that by yourself, for yourself. And then the universe will give you a person who also functions the same way and has actualized and realized themselves to the same degree that you have. And if you haven't, you're going to attract deficiency. If there's deficiency in your own development, the partner will also be deficient in the same way that you are. That's the big fucking joke of Jehovah. That's the big trick. So if you want to be happy in a relationship, develop a relationship with yourself first. And we're done with Mars and Libra, part 3. Please remember to donate for contact. This was a lot of work. Please donate. I want to see on Sunday morning some nice money in there. Okay? So that I can continue with Scorpio. Okay? Thank you, everybody.